If I had one main tip from the examiner's position, one main tip for speaking candidates, and this I think goes to IELTS as much as main suite Cambridge exams, don't paint yourself into a corner. So that's a nice phrase we have in English, by the way, is to paint yourself. I'm sure people know it, but paint yourself into a corner. If you imagine you're painting a floor and you paint and paint and paint, and then you realize you're standing in a corner and you can't get to the door because you've painted, you've got all that paint around you. It's possible to do the same thing as a speaking candidate. When you start speaking and you keep snowballing and snowballing, this big snowball of complete nonsense that doesn't mean anything, don't be afraid to stop yourself, to change your mind, to say, oh no, actually I was thinking about something else, and then just launch into a different, there's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I tell people, I also teach them this phrase, to lose your train of thought. I just tell them, well, say something like, I'm sorry, I seem to have lost my train of thought. Let me start over.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. That's definitely it. The second biggest tip I would give for, this is the picture round now, so this is especially about CPE, because you can kind of get away with this for FC and CAE, but for CPE, no way. A lot of the time, there'll be, so if it's CAE, for example, the question will always be like, here are some pictures of people doing some sort of stuff. Talk about how the people might be feeling and why they're doing this stuff, something like that. And people will simply describe the pictures.
Oh yeah.
Of course, as you know, that's a really common trap to fall into, and no wonder, because you've got the pictures in front of you, so why wouldn't you describe them? You can sometimes get away with that on FCE and CAE, depending on how specific the question is. But with CPE, forget it, because there's always so many different layers. You know how CPE works. It's always something like, now here are the pictures, describe them, and now imagine that we're making some sort of magazine article about this stuff, which is hardly related to the pictures. Decide which picture is going to be the best to get the most reader attention. There's just so many different levels of analysis and layers that if you simply try and describe the picture, sorry, there's no way you're passing.
No,
all the time.
Yeah, and I tell people all the time, like, I'm looking at the picture, you are looking at the picture, we're both looking at the same picture. Why are you describing to me? I see what is happening in the picture.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Do you want to know another? I can say this now because I don't examine for Cambridge anymore, so I don't really give a shit. Another secret Cambridge doesn't want you to know. Yeah. This is more for the ladies. Show up, make yourself up, makeup on, nice dress. Honestly, it will help. No one will tell you that. It will help. It's the same as any interaction in life. If you approach someone with a nice smile, and again, this is not a sexual thing. I'm not trying to be impolite here with the guys as well. A nice haircut, shaved, a nice shirt. If you're looking respectable, because honestly, because I used to examine in Nizhny Vartovsk, right? Some of the people you get there, not the upper echelons of society, and you try, when you're the assessor, you try not to let that affect you. If someone's being, especially like teenage kids, I have teenage kids who are doing FCE and they're just laughing through the exam and they're trying to make jokes, they're answering the questions in kind of like a rebellious way, like tell me about what you do in your free time in part one, and then, oh yeah, I like to smoke my electronic cigarette behind the school, and stuff like that. And there's nothing in the framework which says they can't say that. There's nothing in the framework which says they can't talk about rude stuff. There's nothing in the framework that says they can't swear, depending on how you interpret the framework. There's nothing in the framework that says they can't talk about, smoking cigarettes, even if they're teenagers. But try it and see what happens. You will lose marks. Somehow the examiner's just going to get it in their head that they don't like this candidate. Examiner bias has a massive influence on your mark. Trust me.
Well, I'm not surprised. Come on, we are not robots. You cannot get complete objectivity in that, in terms of human communication. Yeah, I also tell people, smile when you enter the room. Smile.
Absolutely.
Say thank you. Just don't be it, because a lot of people in Russia, maybe it's just the way we are. We are sometimes like robots. We don't smile, we don't move, we just sit like that, and it doesn't make a good impression. It doesn't invite the other person to interact.
Yeah, all true, all very true. Yeah, just treat it like any other interaction in your life.
Yeah.
Smile, be polite. Don't say annoying and rude stuff, because some people do. And again, formally, there's nothing in the framework that says you should mark them down. But if the examiner gets it in their head that they don't like this candidate, which can happen, it happens. Then, if they're deciding between, is it 3, is it 3.5, he's probably going to choose 3.
Yeah.
So again, that's a dirty secret that Cambridge doesn't want you to know, but hey, I don't really care.